I wanted to ask you a question if you have an opinion about it. I'm sorry I didn't tell you beforehand.
Okay.
So I was having a conversation with someone about feminism.
Wow. That's a serious start.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
So I wanted to, where do you stand on the whole?
I mean, I feel like currently we've misconstrued the whole idea of it in this current generation, because the main idea the founding mothers of feminism actually looked out for, was the fact that they wanted women to be in schools, political positions, in social gatherings where decisions were made concerning them. But now you have in current society, people saying things like, "Oh, I'm a feminist, so I don't want to give birth." That's not the real reason.
Yeah.
Or I'm a feminist, so I don't have to cook or do certain things. Now, don't get me wrong. If you don't want to, it's your choice.
Yeah, sure.
But don't attach it to the ideology. I feel many people have twisted the concept of it, but I am a feminist.
Oh,
I like
really?
the fact that I'm educated.
That's interesting.
I wouldn't trade that for anything in the world. I like knowing things. I like knowledge. I like expanding my ability to know, to read, to learn, to converse, and to grow generally. So I feel like if they didn't fight for all those things, I'll probably be knitting by now, or with 3 children and having a farm. I'm not saying that's the world will remain in the archaic state and stuff, but it will grow, but women wouldn't, right? But now you have the opportunity to know your choices, and when you do make them, you're making them on the grounds of knowledge, except you're not aware, but on the grounds of knowledge, and you know what you're going for, situation type of thing. But yeah, I'm a feminist. In the real sense of it.
Well, I don't know what I see as the real feminism, because to me the whole thing looks bad. Everything, all of
Why?
it. Well, I think it's coming from a very faulty premise.
Okay.
The central premise of the feminist movement is that women are oppressed.
At the time when they fought for it,
Yeah.
they were being oppressed.
Okay, what was the oppression then? Because it was primarily in the West. So what was the oppression then?
I have 2 stands, right? The first thing is, there's this guy I really like, Edward Baines.
Okay.
He's the father of PR.
Okay.
Manipulative man, but he was the one that sold women the idea that, it's your body, your choice. Come and smoke. Men are smoking. It's not a bad thing,
yeah.
And then when he partnered with a bikini brand, he sold them, it's your body, your identity. Wear bikinis too. It's not a problem.
And you remember that the people, most women didn't want to wear that.
Didn't, yeah.
They had to get sex workers. They had to get prostitutes to actually dress that way.
The first woman he got to wear it was a prostitute.
Yeah.
So she didn't mind it. I mean, men at the time had already objectified her to an extent that she knows that she's doing this for money. But the women that were clothed and seeing the attention the other girl got, maybe if I remove a little shoulder here, it won't be a problem. So it was a thing that they did, not knowing. That's why he managed public relations in a way that was, sometimes I stay awake and I'm like, how do you convince a whole generation that this makes sense? There's something he did with breakfast and stuff. But on the grounds of the oppression they faced then is that it was men making their rules at the time. You had to labor as hard. If you're going to be employed, they were exploiting women and children at the time too as well, that they were exploiting men too, don't get me wrong. But it was more of, the thing is, if they're giving 7 days a week for everybody to work, you have to show up 7 days a week. And there are women that have cramps, things like that, were realities. But there wasn't any woman on the board saying, this is a thing that a woman can suffer to as well. Yeah. I mean, consider them, their emotional status and stuff. So those women wanted to also go to schools. I mean, they weren't the first woman to go to a medical school, celebrated as if she won something. She just went to school.
But what I'm looking at anyway is the framing of oppression is what I take issues with.
Okay.
Because it's not fair to history. It's a revisionist view of history to look at history from the lens of oppression, from our stance today that you are seeing all of these goods that everyone should enjoy, right? So it's now like, why didn't people of the past enjoy them? The people then must be wicked, the men then must be wicked for holding people down. But then you look at this idea. What about voting?
Yeah.
So I asked someone, do you think there was ever a time in history where it was unfair to bar women from voting? And she said that there was no time in history where that was fair. But that doesn't make any sense. There was a time in history where that was fair. Because, as an example, it wasn't even really, from what I think, I don't even think it was like every man could vote at some point.
Yeah.
It was people who owned land, people who had a stake
Yes.
in.
Yes.
So, and
The
the other
affairs of
part,
the
the other
society.
part was, you would go to war by force. So it would be nice to make sure that you are voting a sane person.
Yeah.
So you can't have women who wouldn't go to fight voting for somebody who would lead. That made sense.
I saw on the premise you're standing on, it makes a lot of sense.
So if you still check the other things, one. But my point is this though. My issue is framing it as oppression, liberation from oppression. My question is, from who?
They felt marginalized at the time. I would like to
It
believe.
wasn't marginalization though.
But it seemed like people like Adam Smith, he really, he did this whole, Standard Oil. At the time, there was a time he had like monopoly of the market for oil. So like when workers realized that he was exploiting them, they rose now. And they wanted to fight. The same way, women saw, you could fight for your rights. Let's fight for the fact that
No, there's nothing wrong with that. So if you're looking at, my problem is if you're looking at your current history, you're evaluating your current history, that things are not being fair to you now. And you're fighting now for it. I don't have any problem with that. But if you're saying that women have always been oppressed throughout history, that is not true.
Well, you're calling into fact the ideology that women have always been oppressed has been a thing. I feel like it's in recent times women are now standing, this oppression won't hold. If I worked as hard, I should be given equal, a seat at the table too as well. But even till now, there are some offices that are oppressing women. There are some spaces that
I don't know if I would call it oppression.
The term oppression is what you have a problem with.
I have a problem
What
with
would you rather rephrase it as?
I would take bias.
Okay.
Right?
That's
because there was this argument people were having online. This is a Catholic argument about traditionalist, a traditional, that is TLM masses. So somebody says Pope Francis was persecuting them. I'm like, dude, that's not persecution.
That's a big
do you know what persecution? So if you use the word persecution, you are implying that the other party were completely innocent, and this person is unjustly dealing with them and ruining their lives. But that is an unjust phrasing of reality, because the other party were offending the church. By saying that the Novus Ordo Mass, that is the normal Mass that we know, is heretical, it was invalid and saying all kinds of things against the church. And Pope Francis now said, okay, I'm going to punish you people by taking away your identity from you. You can argue that it was heavy-handed, but you can't call that persecution. So that's also the same way, you can't call that oppression. Like, the reason why women were staying at home to start with was because they were viewed as queens that needed protection, that men had to be groomed to know how to take care of their ladies. And people had to go and fight to face dangers, to make money, to make bread, to bring to them.
Well, I actually see your point, because all the fights we did, right, it's not making us almost equal to men. In today's world, there is this whole notion of the fact that, women are equal to men, right? It's hard, though, to be a fellow man. Like, to go into the world and work as hard as a man, and then still come back home and hold down a family and have children, and it's a lot. It really is a lot. But I feel like maybe the term they're using today to explain what they're experiencing, oppression, is big. By the time, those women felt oppressed.
They felt oppressed. People have felt a lot of things throughout history. It doesn't make it right.
I know.
And the other word you use now is, what is the other word you use? Equality.
And equity.
Yeah, there's nothing like those things.
There are words in the dictionary now.
Yeah, I know, but there is nothing like equality between genders. There is really nothing like that. Because I was asking someone, is Beyonce equal to my gate man? In the sense of being human first. Okay. I would agree. Yes. Soulfully. They are equal. Yes, all of us are equal fundamentally as human beings. Nobody was arguing that. We are talking about genders. Okay. We are playing that identity politics. Women equal to men. That's what we want to achieve. But is Beyonce equal to my gate man in any measurable distance? If
the reason why I feel like we're saying we are putting it on a table where we feel like everything is plain, if everything is equal. If your gate man had an even opportunity, like Beyonce did when she was rising, there are chances. He might have wasted his own, but if he did actually put in the work, I'm sure they might.
Okay, now you are describing equality of opportunity.
Yeah.
That's a different thing. Because if you now put equality of opportunity, then you cannot judge equality by any demographic.
I get that.
You will just be like, okay, these are the tools you can use. Everybody go and do what you like. And then you let the people sort themselves out.
I get that.
That is fair market, everything.
I get that.
Everybody will struggle. So if there is a pattern that starts to emerge, you'll be like, whoa, black people seem to be doing better than white people. Or white people seem to be doing better than black people. It will no longer be that, oh, we are engineering stuff to make a certain group catch up or to make a certain group fail.
Sure.
We'll just let people run
just
because when somebody is saying women are this thing, you put that idea of it's men versus women. There are a lot of women who are greater than a lot of men. So what of who is going to fight for my security man? Who will fight for Abubakar?
His fellow men.
Who will fight for Abubakar?
His fellow men will fight for him. But I feel like one of the things I have a problem with in current day feminism is the fact that, okay, even this equal rights, saying that women, like we're all entitled to equal rights is great. I mean, rightfully, because we're human beings. But the point where I have a problem now is if a woman enters a room now and rapes a child, you can't stand there and be like, oh, she's feminist, or what was she wearing, or what was... You know, they try to make it like if something extreme happens to somebody, because the person is not close to you, it's easy for you to sit behind your phone and be like, oh, what was she wearing? What was he wearing? All of that. But I feel like generally, it's just... If we're going to define it, like equality with opportunities, I feel like terms should be added to it so you know what we're fighting for. But generalistically saying, oh, everybody should be equal on the same playing field. There are wicked people that if you give equal rights to, they will wound you. Like in the case of this Charlie now, everybody should own a gun. Somebody has owned a gun and somebody shot him. I'm not saying it was right what was done, but they gave them rights to do that. So I feel like it's not everybody that is actually supposed to be allowed all of that.
But even naturally speaking, God doesn't even give everybody equally.
Let's be fair.
That is the simple truth.
Let's be very fair.
And we're not even talking about like somebody who worked really hard to become really smart, to read a lot, and to really become interested in productive, positive things. Yeah. We're even talking about just natural dispositions. Because if like there are people that I know, somebody like, okay, like let's talk about like somebody like St. Thomas Aquinas. You can't be as smart as Thomas was from reading.
Sure.
Yeah, there is some level of natural talent there, and there is some infused grace, the spiritual aspect there. There's a lot
even
going
the
on there.
environment with which
and then that's when he now put him in the environment, in the situation where he met somebody like another genius, like St. Anselm, and then the guy became something else, right? I can't be claiming equality with somebody like that. If I read his book, I have a headache. Then I drink cold water, I go to sleep. That is my process. So God doesn't even give everyone equally. So it doesn't make sense to be saying equality for anything. The only thing that we say equality is something like justice, opportunity, all this kind of stuff. Yes, everybody should be afforded equal
rights on that plane.
So if somebody is treated unjustly, they should have equal access to hearing, to the law and everything for redress. That makes sense. But there's no way we can ever arrive at a place where we're like, okay, men and women are equal. Okay, what after we finish doing that, when I say, and now people get money past Enugu people, maybe we should equalize that too. And when we are done with that, we're like, Imo people.
You know, I saw something online and the person was like, if all the wealth in the world was collected from like the 1% of the 1% and handed down, like it trickles down to everybody, the poor people will still end up giving their money back to the rich. Because some people, you know how you can be like, oh, I just need, you have a plan for what? Some people don't have plans. For someone now, their biggest goal would be to get a boat, a canoe to go and fish in his village.
There is a man, I don't know why I didn't share that post with you. I think it depressed me a lot. Maybe that's why I didn't even share it on my story. There was this guy that They raised, his son was sick, needed a surgery. They raised money for his son to have a surgery. He took that money, millions, and squandered it with women, according to the person in the video, and let his son die. Right? So you realize something.
Priorities.
Do you understand what the point? You realize something brutal, that the people who are poor are not necessarily victims. And the people who are rich are not necessarily oppressors.
True.
Just because somebody is well off doesn't mean they are oppressors.
I get that.
You understand? So that dualist, that mindset of black and white type of thinking is what lets people just be like, where can we draw a line between where can we see two different classes of people and draw a line and be like, everybody
this one
here.
Is wicked. Everybody here is just
like, and this is coming from Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. So it's looking at these people as virtuous.
Yes.
They are poor.
Because
they must be virtuous.
Yes.
So then when you say, oh, let's carry everything from these nonsense people
and give
to these nonsense people who do not have any training, any discipline,
they will
any knowledge,
nothing.
They will kill each other. And they might even kill themselves.
Funny enough.
They might even kill themselves. That's the thing. Because you cannot be a Jeff Bezos. You can't.
Somebody said, right, every rich person does smart work. But I actually argue that because I feel like very wealthy people work harder than most people.
That's the point I'm making.
Like, work harder than most people.
You can't be those people. If those people tell you what their routine was, you realize that they had to basically sacrifice their family life.
Do you understand?
They had to sacrifice everything you hold dear in order to be where they are.
Much. Yeah.
So a lot of people settle for, okay, where can I get to where I can have all these other good things? And they're like, oh, just give me mid-level management level. Let me just rest.
Let's if I can just get $10,000 from $10 now, my life will just be set.
Story.
But then you have no plans to make your life set. In fact, if somebody brings $10,000 bam now to you, because you have no plans, you will squander it within a week. Yeah. You want to buy flashy things, but $10 is not out there doing that. He's managing very intelligent people at every single level. So imagine the brain you even have to sit down in a room of people smarter than you and handle that. I don't think it's very easy work.
So people normally dismiss the effort it takes to become something.
True.
So I see a lot of people come online and say that Elon Musk is a dunce because he was now supporting Trump. He must be an idiot and all of that. I'm like, no, he's a genius, right? You can't be the richest man in the world by accident.
True.
You can't gamble your way into being that. So it sounds like it's almost stupid when I see these comments from people who are supposedly smart, speaking very good English, who seem like they went to very good school. But at the end of the day, they make these ridiculous conclusions that I'm like, bro, an idiot would make a better, you understand?
Inference of the whole
like
situation.
An actual, like somebody who is diagnosed with idiocy, if that was a thing, would make a better assessment of situation. Person can say, oh, look at this really intelligent guy doing something stupid like supporting Trump. The person can say that. And I'll be like, okay, I can see your point. Maybe you really don't like Trump and you think that supporting him is stupid. I can see that, but you at least acknowledge that this guy is smart. You can't come and say he's stupid, like he's not intelligent.
The audacity.
Bro, so everything else that he has done, even
You've
things
discredited it
for
in
which
one
he
post.
said he just gathered a bunch of people and told them to create stuff.
That's the one that I have a problem with.
And I'm like, why haven't you done it?
If it was that easy, my mom would say, okay, she says it in Igbo, but all these your boring homework. If it was easy to be child's play, you would be able to sit down and command it.
Yeah, everybody can do that.
Because it's not easy, you're finding it difficult. Even if you attempt, because you don't have the grace, you're not. I feel like people see rich people as if, oh, they walked into wealth. I mean, some of them, obviously.
I wanted to say that. Yeah, exactly.
Let's call a spade a spade.
Of course.
Some people woke up to it, but for you to maintain a certain level of relevance, even their children now, you see them trying to own like clothing brands and be something of substance because they don't want you to just know them as, oh, their father was the one that handed them stuff. They want to be something too as well. But for you to be something of relevance and remembered,
it takes virtue.
You must do work.
It takes virtue. Because think about it now. You need to do good work, Not one day, not 2 days,
True.
not 3 days.
True.
With all the restrictions, with all the self-regulations you have to
being on that
have,
restriction.
you have to be on that for years.
Sure.
Sustained for a long time.
True.
Ask all those people, have they ever tried to do anything, right? And done it consistently for 1 week? Do you understand the point? So if you say, oh, I'm going to stop watching movies. Let me read more. See how long that lasts. Like 12 minutes. You understand? So you see,
it's not really my
it's
thing.
difficult to do stuff, to do difficult stuff. So coming back to the point, one of the problems I have with the entire feminist movement is that it doesn't seem to me like it is born from honest critical thinking.
I would argue that though.
The reason I say that is this. Everybody I've seen who supports, who is like out there influencing the whole feminist movement. In fact, any post you show me now, I can tell you like at least one logical fallacy with their idea, right? So if you tell me one, say, this is what this person wrote. Because the other thing is, people enter those circles and they're like, they draw a line, men versus women. And then they now go and start looking for news where any man did anything to any woman, and then they present it and they're like, see it again, men are killing us.
No, this is the men will do. They're extremist men that do those things.
Yeah, insane men. Men I wouldn't be in their group calling myself a manist if they had a group like that.
No, but there are men that do that. There are men that actually outrightly on Twitter, they tear them down every other day talking about how they don't like women and stuff.
That's what I'm saying. Because some people, there's this guy, somebody was telling me about him, so I realized that, I already knew this guy and I didn't like the guy, right? Because he writes a lot of stupid stuff, and it's the point I'm making. It doesn't make logical sense that you are this against women. That's also how it doesn't make any sense that you are this against men.
But that's really
even the gentler people that seem like, they are more balanced, even those ones that seem like they are balanced, right?
Okay.
When they formulate the arguments, I still look at them like, there seems something wrong with your argument still. Because you can't divide any people in a line like that and say, these people against these people.
No, but I feel like that's the adulteration that is happening now with what it stands for.
That's what it has always been from the beginning.
No, from the beginning. I feel like because I had to also go into understanding, because at some point I knew, feminism was, you're standing in for women and equal rights. But I didn't have any grounding knowledge. It was a knowledge that was thrown to me. Just like, I believe in certain things, but it was thrown at me. I had to go and do, what exactly do these people stand for? And am I on it? I had to actually do the research of it. The people they were being oppressed actually at the time. Some women enjoyed reading. Like you said, people have different talent and races and whatnot. Some women will sneak out to read because they liked the stories that were told and stuff. Or maybe their brothers that went to school come back and gist them about, in school we did this, we were able to open up a toad, and it's fascinating to them. I wanted to be an automobile engineer. I really love cars. But then, it's gracious. It's not gracious for a girl to want to do things like medicine, things like that. So it was...
So you see that as an oppression?
No, I don't see it as an oppression, right? I see it as...
But you think it's bad?
I don't think it's bad.
Oh, okay.
If I had my chance, the opportunity at the time, I would still do... But now I like what I'm doing because I get to work with machines. But the point I'm trying to make is, it's almost as if at the time, the things they loved, they couldn't expressively do it at the time.
And you think that's the oppression you're talking about?
It seemed as though.
Okay, thank God you said it seemed. That's why I like you. You say it seemed.
I didn't experience the time with them. So I would say that from all I gathered, they felt oppressed at the time. So because of their oppression at the time, they rose in numbers to fight. But then now, the same way it would be seen as if somebody was fostering the movement, low-key. Of course, somebody will be paying somebody to move something because they know that if they got more women into the working force, More revenue for the...
Thank God you
the
know
government
that.
to be all right.
Thank God you know that.
If they can get children too, train them through school, over time too as well, they will build up to increase the economy and the revenue generated. So somebody was moving something on the ground to make them see, oh, this is not fair. But on the grounds, right, I feel like even men that were at the time being sent into army, the military, all of those things, somebody was also moving, but it's not the sons of the wealthy that are doing those things. It's the exploited ones too as well. So there's always been a share of ideology to a certain group. That's basically what culture is now. A certain group of people we gathered and nurtured in a particular
But let me ask you something though. Thank God you talked about the military. A bunch of men have been sent to wood chippers all their lives to go and die. So they just be like, get me 1,000. They send them, they go and die. Do we still have another 1,000? Drag them from their dinner tables, they go and die. That versus, we really want to walk. It would be nice to walk.
Wow.
Hold on. Hold on. We really want to walk. It would be so nice if we could go and walk. Two of those people.
No, that's not a fair comparison.
Hold on. Two of those people. Who is oppressed?
It may seem as though.
It's not even seem as though. It's the people who are being sent to go and die.
Unfairly, yes, I agree.
So you don't see men carrying placards because the point is, who are we going to protest? Because it's not a line. The point I'm making is that it is a lot of men throwing their fellow men to the wood chipper. The line is not drawn on gender.
I get that.
It's drawn between, if you are considering politics, it's drawn between people who are leading and people who are led. If you are talking about another class of power, it's drawn again between the elite and the rest. This thing is complicated. You can't just say, oh, it's gender is the line. You just draw it in the middle. Because part of the people who are oppressed are women.
But that's the thing, right? They didn't come as, as men are going to go and die, we also want to be in the military. They chose their battle. They wanted to be in offices too, where they are making decisions pertaining them. I don't think any woman then was like, yeah, I see my son dying and I also want to go and be in military. Nobody.
Why is it not? Is that not power?
Because we noticed.
Because it seemed like if somebody said it's when the offices got a condition that women were like, oh, I want to work too.
Because it wasn't, no woman was really fighting to go and work. But at the time too, there were women that were working in factories like that because they wanted to raise coins. Some of them, their husbands were lost. They just really wanted to do work that would earn them money. But the women that fought for rights, fought for education, right? Even if we're not going to be, but if I feel like today I want to be, I want to learn something. I want the opportunity to not go and hide to read books. To be able to be like, oh, I don't think
people were hiding to read books.
They will.
That's what they say. But I don't
think...
As
we weren't participants of the time.
Okay, look at it like this now. The people who are doing anything, we are men, right? Who are doing like things outside. At least that's how we look at it now.
That's what history
people who are going outside. But why do you think that's a bad thing?
I don't know.
At the time, right? Because you said it was oppression, though.
It may seem as though to them all the time that it was oppression.
Yeah, but you have to believe in something objective for you to say, okay, I agree with this group and I'm fighting alongside them.
No, that's the thing. The objective stance I'm taking with them is that I like the fact that they fought for things like education. I like to know things.
There's really nothing to fight for.
No, but at the time, they had to fight for it. It wasn't a given.
Who? Because the people that who are they fighting?
The men that didn't allow them to enter
their husbands, their brothers, those same people.
Yeah.
Why didn't they just fight them in their houses?
If some of them were bullies now, obviously, at the time. I cannot have made lunch and dinner for you and then you come back to it and I'm like, sir, please, I would like to go to school. It wasn't illogical, but if they came out in numbers.
I like the way you are thinking because I like the way I think it generally because initially you brought up something that I really liked when you talked about the manipulation of a man who told people go and be naked in the streets and all of that.
Edward.
Because I know that this black and white thinking is what makes some women believe that if you're allowing men to do something self-destructive, that you should allow, if you're allowing men to do stupid things, women should be able to do stupid things too that destroy them.
I feel like generally for any group that can be manipulated, because when they talk about exploitation, they look at it as it's only the wealthy that oppresses the poor. If a very knowledgeable person enters a room, he knows the least intelligent person here. No matter the amount of degrees you have, he knows what he can say to you. And peradventure, they can buy you. They will throw money at you to buy you. That's exploitation. Before you know what's happening, 10 years you've educated in that kind of situation. But with these people at the time, Edward knew what he was doing. These women weren't very exposed. They were very gullible to certain ideas. Now, in a world where people are having to wear things they want and just the way, there are people that still wake up and they've chosen that, oh, this is the way they want to be. This is how they want to be perceived in the world. They know better. They know the difference. By the time he sold, even down to breakfast is the most important meal in the day, he did that. He got with doctors, 100 doctors, and asked them to sign it. And they pushed it. Because that's what the media does. It shoves stuff down your throat. If you're not able to, and most people don't think right now.
Yeah,
like,
that's the point.
They scroll, and they wait for people to give them an ideology to carry on. They don't they don't try to even know what it's about.
And the bad part of it is that, because I was thinking about this earlier, the reason why any of these things actually catch fire is because if you say the truth is usually really boring because it's like, how is your life? You say, oh, it's really not that exciting. You know, I wake up, I eat some bland food, and then
go about my regular day.
Then I go about my regular day. Nothing really happens. I just board a cab, you know, a couple of people shouting at each other, and I'm like, people shouldn't shout at each other. And then I get to my office, and they seize light, and the light goes off, and I'm like, people should bring light up. And then when it's time to go home, I go back home, eat another bland food, and go to bed. Yeah, right? It. If you said that and put it online, nobody will watch that video.
They know about that life.
But if you say, oh, there was an accident today, everybody will be like, wow, what happened? People want something.
That's it. Exactly.
So if you also maybe discuss that in the context of marriage, people believe marital happiness is like something exciting happening all the time. That's why you see some people being dramatic in their marriages. If the marriage becomes comfortable and boring, or like normal, they think it's boring, nobody is going to make a documentary of a couple who are living very ordinary lives, unless there is something interesting about them, like something that stands out. So the point I'm trying to make is this. If you tell the truth the way it is, and say, oh, these are all of the facts, nobody will buy into that. But if you come and use some catchphrases like oppression, manipulation, and a lot of them, people will be like, oh, I am angry, and I didn't even know I was offended.
That's the thing. That's what media does.
So you remind people that they are angry, and they're like, oh, I'm angry. But like, okay, why am I angry exactly?
They will not go to comment sections,
oh, more reason to be angry. Oh my God, let me put that in there. Oh wait, another one. Oh, another reason to be angry. Wait, what did this person say? This person is an idiot. Let me skip that one. Wow, another brand new reason to be angry. And then they'll go around and say, I'm so angry in this one. But 2 moments ago, you were fine.
You were doing just okay.
You were okay until people came to tell you how you are being oppressed.
That's the truth.
And they don't even give you real reasons. And they don't even tell you all of the truth. That maybe you are saying that, because there was this girl I argued something like this with. And I didn't even know somebody had made that a rule. I've forgotten who it was. Said, don't attribute malice to that which you can attribute to stupidity. Oof. Yeah. So because I was telling the girl, you are looking at everybody as the sinister groups of people manipulating everyone. I'm like, yeah, it's usually not like that. It's just somebody overslept and forgot to come to work early because they're incompetent. And then another person like is really, really stupid and normally stupid. He doesn't understand anything. That's why they're horrible at their jobs. It's not always because there are people who want to keep you in chains.
Exactly.
But you can't sell that to anybody. You can't sell incompetence to anybody. It's better to sell evil, to give somebody. If the emotion is not extreme, nobody's buying it.
No, my boss is wicked. It cannot be
nobody
that Nobody
will buy that.
Well.
It's not like my boss is really slow. Yeah, so why are you telling me? It's like my boss is the most wicked person on the planet. That is something. Yeah, so I believe that if people are not pushed to an extreme of one positive or negative emotion, people don't generally want to engage. Because that's the same thing with love stories, all these love stories. You just tune it to look like this person has to be an angel from heaven who fulfills your wildest dreams, even the really, really stupid and self-destructive dreams. Then he's your knight in shining armor.
I feel like even the whole idea of chivalry was sold to women a lot of times in the past. But that's by the way. For this particular grounds of competency, people don't stand very strong. Like, I met a woman recently in the program I told you about, and she has 9 degrees. So somebody with BSc is in the same market with somebody with 9 degrees, 2 PhDs, and you want them to hand you the job.
That's
like, you want them to just, that's the thing. Take the job. I mean, yes, Nigeria can be all of the things we say Nigeria can be. But at the same time, there are people that are seizing opportunities in this same sphere. They're trying to do so much more. There are people that go back to school if they enjoy it. Sometimes it's not because they enjoy it, because they want to make it better. But I can't see how you can fathom that the world is unfair to you when you're not putting in as much work. So when it comes to the grounds of competence, I'm so big on that because, before you open your mouth to say that something wasn't done justly towards you, the question, even all of that, they have to pay women athletes as well as they pay male athletes and all of that, that's great though. I have no problem. I do not play. I no sports at all. But I feel like, except you're exceptionally as good as this man you're equating yourself to. Like, if they put both of you, like Usain Bolt and another female runner, and you can run the exact same distance.
Maybe not exactly.
Maybe not because of the physics and all of that.
But it's also like general interest.
True.
Because there was this idea, this WNBA, this women's basketball team, they were clamoring for equal pay with the men's, but you're making a fraction of what they are making.
Do you understand?
You are making, your revenue is horrible that they are subsidizing your league. And you are still, wanting equal pay. So I feel like it's stupid because, like I was telling, I also mentioned this. There was someone who was talking about actors, that the male actors were earning more than female. And I'm like, what about the times when there is a female lead? She earns more than every guy in the set. Why are you not equalizing pay in that regard too? Because if the movie is about Catwoman, don't expect Catwoman to earn as much as post-delivery boy in the movie. The main character is the main character. They earn more money than everyone else. So this idea, I don't really believe in the idea of equality when it comes to any form of status at all. The only thing I believe is if it's about access to basic rights, everybody should be equal. When it comes to justice, rights to life, and a couple of basic human rights.
On human rights, I believe in equality.
That is just it. Anything else that somebody is clamoring for, I'm like...
But I feel like what they are mistaking for equality on this ground is equity. That's why I mentioned equity. But that's why I mentioned, because, okay, if I employ, say, for instance, now a gate man in my house, and I'm paying the gates man 10,000 naira, and across the gates, somebody employed a gate man and is paying the person, say, 50,000 naira. And there is a survey around my estate. Everybody is being paid 50,000. I'm paying mine 10,000 naira. There is no equity there. On the grounds that they are doing the same work, it's measurable that they are working the same time. I'm not saying now who's person need more work or anything, but it's measurable. The equity they're trying, I feel like they're now mistaking for equality in the sense is that, okay, if I'm going to be an accountant in your office, and there's a male accountant too as well, we both have BScs, I do not see the reason why you should pay him more than you're paying me.
Maybe experience.
Other than experience. But
maybe amount of work
I'm putting on a grounds that we are both on the same playing field. Like the same...
But there are still factors that can modify that. So it's difficult to find two people who are exactly equal in everything.
That's what I was going to give
because it could be like this guy, you guys have the same degree, but this guy maybe has a training, maybe computer skill that you don't, or he puts in more effort than you.
No, until that is brought to light. There are some people that would just, okay, like on the grounds of the security thing, there are people that would just pay somebody unjustly with no explanation. Now, what I do not support is, if you're going to do that because somebody has more experience, even in the whole human resource, whatever, they'll tell you, oh, make it known that this is the base upon which you're paying, even down to when you're employing staff from different countries. You're letting them know, oh, your currency is actually affecting your pay. It's not that we don't think you're doing well. That kind of situation. So that when it's turned over, they know that in as much as you're putting in more work, yes, this person has more experience than you, but they're also earning better because they have a higher earning power. But on the grounds where you just generally treat people unfairly, there are some women that have attained the situations where they can be in higher positions.
I don't think what you're illustrating is unfair. I don't think how you determine fairness is looking at what is given to another person. I think there's an objective measure to weigh your own worth. So if you come to a place, I think there was a survey, there was something about this, I don't know what it is called, but there is this thing that people realize that if they are paid a certain amount, they are happy that this is a great pay. Until they learn that their colleague is earning higher, then they become unhappy.
But that's the thing.
But they knew that their own pay was fair and just.
It was.
Until they realized. So I don't think that's a good, even the one you said about the security, for instance.
I was giving you a practical example. What they actually based the study on was workers, co-workers, colleagues in a particular sphere. The equity theory determines that if you're going to, equity theory did not include experience in its, theory,
that's a big
expression. It's a flaw, I agree. But if you're going to now say you want to be fair, since we're now bringing fair into the equation, if you're going to pay somebody substandard of what standard payments is supposed to be all across board, because before they generate a salary, they will do a job analysis. Now, they're not asking what your experience is in the job analysis. They just know that if you come into this company, this is what you're supposed to do for us. This is your job description. So if I'm coming to work every day and I'm doing all of the things you asked me to do, I might have other experiences that I may choose or choose not to actually contribute. But if you say that, if I come to work every day by 7 a.m., I have to check that the windows are closed and and I'm doing those things, I don't see why somebody else in another office, that's the only time they get angry. It gets annoying because you're not saying, the person in that office earned more because they had more experience or whatever. It is that both of us are handling the same. That's why they do the equity analysis and studies, because if they're handling the same position.
Let me understand. What you're saying is, if the person, even if they have higher experience, but they're doing exactly the same thing, should be paid equally. Is that what you're saying?
If they have the same experience, yes.
No, I'm saying, are you saying if they have the same experience? Or if you are saying that as long as they are doing the same thing, they should be paid equally?
As long as they are under the same job bracket.
And they are doing the same thing, they should be paid equally? No, that is not fair.
No, see, when you now start bringing fairness now, which is what you're trying to, that fairness bit is that, if this person has more experience, they definitely should be paid better, right?
I'm not saying that they should be paid. I'm not saying anything should happen. But if you're talking about what should happen, you're talking about a moral question. So it's not just like, you can't really calculate what is a just wage easily, right? It's not an easy thing like, this is a just wage to pay everybody. What you can do is, first of all, you have to have a baseline for what somebody can survive on with some dignity in their lives. So you have to pay somebody a wage that can
That's our minimum wage situation.
That can sustain. Not our own. No. Our own is terrible. So,
but that's the idea of
that's what it's supposed to. Then you now build on top of that, right? Then you now say, okay, this, that. Then you also bring in your ability to negotiate. You can't come to the office and then this other guy is shrewd, demonstrating his abilities and how, if you don't employ him, this whole office is going to catch fire if he's not here. And the person looks at his value and pays him. And then you come and say, you push to employ me. I need a job. They're like, what can you do? I can do some things. And then they should pay you equal to that person.
But then that's
come on.
No, but that's what equity here is talking about.
Nobody is buying into equity.
No, but in reality, right, in the real sense, nobody wants to be. Even me, if I was going to employ somebody, I'm looking at the things you're going to help me attain, right? But generally, the idea of equity is equal pay for the job. Now, if on the job, let's say you're employed to, accountants. One is now outdoing the other one, and you're seeing that they're really, or sales executive, one is really needing more customers, she's super friendly or whatever, and she's bringing in more clients and stuff. You might raise the persons, but on the grounds of raising, explain why.
No, you don't have to explain anything.
No, but that's what now creates the enmity.
It doesn't matter. The person that is angry, you fire that person. and bring a new person that will not be telling you, oh, is it because I'm a woman? Is it because I'm a
Oh
woman?
my
You
God,
fire that
it's not a
person.
case of-
You
even
fire the
men-
person.
even men will
you
do
fire,
that.
No, men don't do that.
You wouldn't know.
When you meet somebody, you are judging that whole person.
True.
And you can never really meet two people who are the same.
Fact.
All you can say is, oh, you can just say, oh, this person studied this particular course and they have a degree in it. But it doesn't even mean that those 2 degrees are equal.
Fact.
Yeah, so you could even find a master's degree holder who doesn't still know what they are talking about, and a first degree holder who masters that field properly because they engage that because they are passionate about that field, not just because they want to get ahead, they want to get a job with this degree. There are so many things that you get. So when somebody comes to you for an interview and manages to sell their value, you tend to believe them more.
I get that.
And when somebody now comes and maybe they are naive or they are timid, they are afraid, you get to doubt them more.
I get that.
Right? So if 2 people come and you are saying, oh, one person is paid more than, maybe this other person negotiated better and the other person didn't. You will not come and say, oh, this person was already working here and it's the same position and job. I should go back and review that person's salary because this trailblazer managed to convince me that they can make me $1 million extra, and this young woman has been here for 10 years.
It mustn't be a woman, it can also be a man. That other one might be a man.
I like the woman this thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because
then imagine the other one is a woman.
Yeah, we won't be arguing feminism if that other person is a woman. Because the whole point is oppression. We are oppressed. Men don't go around online saying that they are oppressed. You understand?
There's a select group of men that do that.
No, they don't. What people whine about is about women. They are not really calling it oppression, per se. They don't say, oh, women are wicked, fear women.
That's the whole misogynistic angle they're coming from.
It doesn't necessarily mean it's misogynistic because, you can see their points about the wickedness part.
Look at that. Look at that.
I'm not saying everyone, right? But these things are not happening from out of the blue. These people are not angry with women for no reason. Right?
Same way the women are not angry.
That's the point I'm making, but it's a misinterpretation of data. Do you understand the point? They are looking at something and they are reacting poorly. They are looking at something that is happening and they're interpreting it terribly and they are reacting poorly. That's the same thing people do with almost every other thing around them. People see, oh, we have identified a problem. Just because you can recognize the problem doesn't mean you know the solution. Do you understand? If you have malaria, you notice that it doesn't mean you can formulate medicine to cure that. But we are so full of ourselves to think that once you recognize the problem, you are the key person, you are the person to proffer the solution.
No, but the thing is, but I feel like, okay, the concept you are holding now was the fact that, people, they figure out a problem and they think they might be the chair solution finders of this particular issue, right?
Not necessarily.
If I'm not misquoting.
Not necessarily. It's like people. It's just the point is that people reacting poorly to real problems.
Yeah.
So those men try to date women and they get burned, or their friends get burned because maybe that woman rejected them, like as she should. Maybe they did something stupid and they get rejected and they feel slighted, or maybe the girl cheated on them and they feel you should be afraid of every woman because every woman cheats or something like that. That's a poor, terrible reaction.
That's not... Again, it's the whole misconstruction of the terms. Like you said, there needs to be proper understanding. And more times than not, people are looking to be given what to think. Like, oh, if you're going to hook people in a podcast now, you're going to put out the highlights as the clickbait.
Like this one. Learn to make $20 billion in 10 days. Put this one.
Well, then, like when you do that, people are, oh, okay, wow. They get shocked into, oh, where is that? Is it on YouTube? Let me go and see the full video, right? So now it's no longer, come and listen to our conversation about...
No, that one is boring.
They don't want that. They want you to give them something that is almost controversial.
Yeah, sure.
In fact, that short clip, they can tell you the entirety. They've not watched the video. They can tell you the entirety of what that person was really saying. But they've not watched the full concept. So for me, I feel like it's still going down to this one man's experience of, been with a girl who did him dirty. And this one woman's experience of having been with a man that did her dirty too as well. shouldn't be the basis for standing on feminism or not. Because all of that now is now the misconception of it. That's why a lot of people are now being misled as to the meaning. That's why I said...
But the point is like the initial feminist ideology was from a flawed premise.
It wasn't.
It was.
It wasn't.
I proved that earlier. Let me prove it again. Because if you are going to say oppression, they use those words a lot.
But... Okay.
From the very beginning, the people
if
who
we're
did
going
that.
To, if we're now going to remove oppression, right?
Okay. Why would we remove it? It's the word
like
that they chose.
Because the word might have a poor connotation now. Like if you say oppression in this time and age.
Even then, I'm talking about then.
It felt more realistic. Even the workers came up to say that they were being exploited.
They didn't have any reason to say oppression.
But workers came out and said they were oppressed too.
Everybody was exploited.
So that's the point.
Including the men.
That's the point.
So, but you are dividing that as women are... It's just like this one that happened that... is it WHO or something? No, it's not. There's this group... what's the name of this group that posted... UNICEF. No, it's not UNICEF. That posted something about end violence against female journalists.
Oh, wow.
And people became angry. Because the men died way more than the women. And their focus is, stop killing female... Like, it's a stupid idea. Like, their own. I'm talking about their own.
I feel like generalistically, maybe the problem we all as human beings are facing in this current generation is that we're trying to fight ourselves. If everybody is coming out to be like, I feel like every human being should be given the right to go to school.
Then you won't be a feminist now.
No, but that's the thing. At the time, the reason why they termed it feminism was that they did not know what to call these rebel women. Would you say rebellious women were out in the streets trying to move for schools? They had to give them a name. Almost everything that stood up to Marxists, all the people that belonged to the Marxist theory and thought that Karl was really doing a lot.
What you don't think that feminism is related to Marxism? I don't know why you're laughing.
It's how you brought it back to that.
I don't know why you're laughing, but you don't think so. You don't think it's part of it?
It's also on... It is. I can see how it can play in that
because
line.
It's like you are taking something really complicated and difficult, oversimplifying it, and saying this group evil, this group good.
No, but okay.
And reviewing history too. That history is just like this specific struggle across one particular aspect of human existence. That is all it is.
No, but that's the thing. It seems as if we're just tearing one group bad, right? But that's not what feminism was doing then.
That is what it was doing.
No, let me explain it. Because what they were doing then was they didn't say men were bad.
No, I'm not saying that they literally said men were bad.
So like
they were saying that they were oppressed.
Oppressed.
Who is oppressing them?
People above them.
Who?
That are not female.
I like that. I love that. People above them that we are not female.
But that's what it was.
You really, really want her not to say men.
But that's what it was because at the time,
This is too good. This is too good. I love this. People, I really, really love the way you phrase it.
But that's what it was at the time. These people that were oppressing them, or at least...
It's not fair.
Because I don't want to... Because, okay, imagine a situation where some women were going to schools, right? And other women weren't going to schools. If women rose up then to be like, I don't like the fact that you're giving some women the right to go to school. It shows that some women at least were in schools. Then you say that it's not fair, right? That what they're trying to do was unjust because at least they allow... It's just people that want to go that are going. But on this ground, no woman was in school. And people wanted to speak. Had even I was born in that time, I would join I like to read books. I like to research. It's one of the interesting things I do with my day, other than working. But I just feel like it would have been so redundant at the time to have a brain that was just... You didn't have the expansivity you have right now at the time. And I think that maybe as the generation was growing, they kept watering down the integrity of what they fought for.
I don't think there was any integrity to begin with.
That's where the problem.
Let me tell you why I think so. Let us say that this history is between one man and one woman. Let's just say these thousands of years that we've existed as a species.
No, let's do two.
Let's just say for my analogy, you can do two men. Let's just say for my analogy, it's one man and one woman, and these two people have lived for 1,000+ years. Let's say that in the beginning, this man was afraid of letting his wife go outside so that she's not mauled by a lion. And then he goes out to hunt and do all these things. And then the wife comes and gathers and all those things and makes a home, right? He goes to fight a bunch of animals, let's say animals and all that, to be able to cater for his family and to be able to protect his family. And this woman feels so happy and so taken care of. And then as the years advance, this man builds the analogy will not work at this point because it's like builds a civilization and all of that. And there is now relative peace. He has conquered a lot of places, and everywhere is now livable, livable. And this woman starts saying, "Oh, I want to go outside. You've been oppressing me for these 5,000 years that we've lived together." This is the reason why calling it an oppression is saying that this whole time we have been held down. You didn't say, "Oh, don't you think it is time I started going outside?" Realizing that the reason why you've been indoors was for your own good.
The reason why I keep standing on Imesima's door, because everything I know is based on what the people that sat down to write wrote.
Yeah, but I'm
right.
trying to
but
tell
I
you,
guess where you're coming from. Maybe let's give them the benefit of doubt. That maybe somebody rose up and was like, "Please, would like that women be allowed."
Nobody did.
You wouldn't know this. History wrote what it wanted to write.
Yeah, you wouldn't know that too because.
Do you understand? That's why I'm saying let there be a ground where there are chances that there is a benefit of
it doesn't still matter.
We always go to the extreme.
Even if you do that, it still doesn't matter.
Why?
Because if you say, for instance now, when something has been established as a tradition, as a norm, it is not easy to break it. Because people don't know how the alternative would look like.
Exactly.
Now, so you are now saying that if you come to your mind and say, "Oh, I want to start going outside," even I'm dumbing it down to like going outside.
I get what you mean.
So even if you say to your mind, go and says, "No, don't go outside, stay in the house," you say, "It's because he hates me and he's oppressing me." That is a terrible way to frame that.
But because you do not know the reasons why they are scared, do you understand where I'm coming from? I can afford to say that, yes, I feel oppressed.
You honestly believe that even if they tell you any reason that because you really, really want to go out, you'll be like, it's because they love me so much, they don't want me to go outside.
See now, okay, there was something that happened in my secondary school. All the schools in Abuja, some of them would flog their students. My reverend sister at the time, I went to a ministry, whatever they call them. I can't remember. But Aisha went to a ministry school, and the reverend sister refused that we get flogged. Do you know the reason she tells us? Because she believes that they will get to a point where you cane a child, and if they refuse to change, you've lost that child. The reasons why she didn't allow us to get caned and stuff, she would tell us that, she wanted us to learn. So when you do something that was out of place, they call you to order. Like you have an assembly of people telling you the implications of what you're doing or why you shouldn't do this.
So you can actually learn.
Yes. But I say I want to read and you're skeptical about me reading. You've not given me any ground basis why I shouldn't. It's not like if I get knowledgeable now I'm going to bomb the...
You're not getting my point though. What I'm saying is you are looking at going against tradition. Like not just going against tradition, going against what we think is natural. Because the idea, part of the feminist idea is that most of this stuff are just a bunch of things we made up, right? Most of these women being at home thing and everything we know about the way society is structured, because they talk about the patriarchy and all of those things, that it's just a bunch of stuff we decided to just make up. But that is not true, because they are all built on nature. They are all built on biology. They are not like we just decided every woman on earth will just stay at home and do nothing.
It's now we are justifying those things with biology. No,
it's not that we are justifying it. I'm just explaining to you how it became that way. If women, if our biological outfits were the same, there wouldn't be anything like that.
I can see how they saw women as a softer, lighter.
It's not you can see. They are.
They are. No,
it's
I'm
not
saying,
like you can see.
No, I'm on the same ground with you on that. I can see it, right?
So initially, you needed brute force to do a lot of stuff. You needed brute strength that women were not matching up to, right? those women couldn't coordinate themselves properly, carry themselves properly when there was serious difficulty. You needed split seconds to think and all of that, and then you needed to overcome serious physical adversity. It made sense that those people stay at home. Do you understand? Then at some point, those need for that type of brute force this thing reduced drastically. Then you now come and say, oh, you are being oppressed. No. What you are supposed to do is to say, you want to change this thing that has been happening for thousands of years, right? That even though you know it is new and difficult for people to wrap their heads because they have never seen it or experienced it.
Exactly.
You still don't term it oppression, no matter what you say, right? Because oppression would be that people set out to harm you. The oppression is that you are told, go and stay at home. Let me go and make money to give you food to shove in your face. Then they come and say, I am oppressing you. That is a bad way to phrase it.
That's what I'm agreeing with you. I feel like the term is what really was the problem.
And I'm not saying that this is the term that drove the mindset initially that made it bad from the very beginning.
Do you know, the problem, right, is if men like Edward existed at the time when Edward existed, they can turn media to whatever they want it to be. So I feel like even in the scripting of, oh, this was, maybe these women came out to actually ask for it. They now term them the enemy of the society because they're trying to push other women down to not follow them because they are rebels. What if that was our reality? But the problem now is I'm not even looking at these things. I'm saying that in the time when things became easier in the society, and they came out and they said they wanted to study, because it did not pass studying, going to school educationally, political offices and social rights.
Why do you want political offices, by the way?
So that I can be able to sit and with other people that are making decisions concerning the place I'm living in.
Okay. Basically, you want to be a leader.
I would like to lead. People would like to lead.
Okay. So if somebody comes to say, I don't want a woman to lead, you see them as misogynistic, right?
No, but that's the thing, right? I'm not going to just tell them off like that. I want to know your reasons for not wanting a woman to lead. Have you seen in history where a woman held a position and did terribly? If that's your ground, yes. Have you seen this particular person that's coming out now to lead actually mismanage any position she has held before? Has she been competent over time? No,
it does. I don't even think that is the thing that matters so much because it's not difficult to find a lot of men in history who were horrible at their jobs.
Do you understand?
So that is not what it is.
But that's what they fought for. Those women, those men that were horrible at the time, the women also wanted to enter the seats so they can be able to guide them.
To guide them.
Guide them towards general benefit.
That's funny. But you can see. So the point I'm trying to make is this. I'm not defending saying women shouldn't lead, but when you look at it from the point of you are leading, just like what we have today, you are leading people without any personal pain and involvement. You're not paying any price.
I get that.
Right? So it's a problem. Even you see that now where a president can send people to war to go and die and is comfortable in his house.
Definitely.
Right? So there was a time when you had to lead the charge.
True.
And there is a way we can say, oh, things were a bit better then. It's arguable. It's arguable. So things were a bit better than when it comes to being a bit slow in starting a war.
Yeah.
Even though, you can argue that. But the point I'm making is some people can say, I don't want women to lead because you're not going to come and fight in a war, ever. So there's a reason why, for instance, if you go to, like, in the US, there's this respect that they give to veterans. So if you say that you're a veteran and you've been in service and you're coming out to become a president, people naturally gravitate towards trusting you a little more because you've actually put your money where your mouth is, that kind of stuff in your life. So there is this problem with all of that. But the point I'm making anyway is that if you are saying that the feminist movement, is beginning to go south now, I am saying that it started in the south.
I don't think it started in the south. That's just sad. No, I don't think so because, look at the women I'm going to use, for instance, for leadership positions. Awosika. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. These are women that manage their positions well. Now, on that ground, they had to attain those positions because they acquired first of education, knowledge. There was expansivity for them. Now, even now, when Ngozi was coming out, she was not content because people saw the woman was capable. What do you want to contest for? That kind of situation. So, like, if she didn't have the opportunity to get educated and be allowed to sit in a room where they could make decisions for a leader and be selected.
I don't have any problem with that.
No, but that's the thing. It's just that now I feel like they've watered down the meaning so much. It's abused.
It's not now. I'm still saying.
You're saying it started in the South.
In the South, South. So because the whole point is the way you frame an argument is you are coming out to say you are being oppressed. I'm like, no.
I feel like that was what
no.
was written.
Yeah. Written how?
They said that it's like you said, it's not very easy to contest them culture and stuff and traditions, right? For us to get to the point where we have democracy, there was once autocracy now where people were like really, once they say A and amen, and it was dictatorship that was happening at the time. So for you to be able to ascertain change, you must have fought for it. So for them it wasn't going to be please, I really want to go to school, wink, wink, and then they will allow you into schools. You had to give them reasons beyond doubt because these are men that have led for, in fact, like you said, it would be a scary thing that have been holding, imagine you as a parent, holding down your family when one day your children come and they're like, we're going to take over everything, want to just manage. What do you mean you want to manage and you're telling me it's because you want to? It doesn't make any sense. So it's either you now take it by force or you actively, continuously show me the reasons why it's beneficial for you to hold the position of leadership. Well, parenting arrangements is a very weak example, but you get the drill. I just feel like for them, they needed to be rebellious.
I don't think they needed. I don't think they needed to be.
We can agree to disagree.
I don't think they needed to be any of those
We can agree to
because
disagree.
the funniest part of the whole thing is that most of the people who are driving them were still men. It's
almost arguable because
that
you don't know.
Even the funniest
part of the whole thing. The wives of the rich men.
Story.
They are giving them money.
Story.
So we don't know this for a certain.
So it's it's weird, but the way it has gotten to now, because it's where bad ideas naturally arrive. Because the thing was a bad idea to begin with. It wasn't a good idea that got corrupted at some point.
We're going to have this conversation off camera because, no.
It was a bad idea from the beginning.
I don't like your stance. I really don't like your stance.
It was a bad idea from the beginning. It's just a bad idea that got way worse. It wasn't like a good idea that got corrupted.
I feel like it was a good idea that got corrupted. No, it was a terrible idea. It was a good idea that got corrupted. So the idea of getting women to the workforce... So, okay, do you think that women would have ever been educated? Had it been they didn't fight for it? Honestly speaking,
yes,
in a world
they would have. Yes, they would have.
What do you think would have changed?
Because, how do you mean?
Like, if they didn't come out to fight...
You don't need to fight for anything.
Okay, fight is such a big word now. We are now choosing words that we are using. But if they didn't come out to say, they wanted to be in schools and go to schools and demand to be in offices, demand is also a big word. But the point is...
Demand is okay. Fight for it is okay. But what I'm saying is, they didn't need to call it oppression. That is my whole point.
Okay, I will go back to the books and review it. I promise you, I'm going to tell the historians to change oppression from the word and use maybe fight or defend. Would that be more palatable? Because the whole idea is that they still wanted to resolve the idea of women not being included. I feel like that is all It
didn't make sense to include women everywhere at the time.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's why they didn't fight for a variety of things.
But my point still is, because even then, talking about voting, right? It was still debatable whether women should vote at that time, right? Because you are talking about responsibility. I mean, if you have a stake, if you have land, you have a stake, you have something to lose, then somebody can say, okay, go. Because the other side to rights is responsibility. You can't be fighting for rights when you haven't demonstrated responsibility. Because what the hell is that?
You can't even fight for it when you're not responsible.
Because, okay, look at it another way now. You say you want equal rights, you want all of these things. It's like, why are women not taking difficult positions like joining the military en masse?
They are now.
They are now. How many % of the military do you think are women anywhere in the world?
But then
usually,
there are also
usually
other,
very small
there are
numbers.
also other jobs. Even nowadays, we have
No,
more male
I'm not talking
chefs.
about other jobs. I'm talking about,
Military
there is a reason I'm
specifically.
talking about the force, military, because this is where it boils down to all your rights, all of your rights,
But that's not the only.
all of your rights.
That's why we didn't center it on military at the time.
No. What I mean is this: all your rights, the right you are clamoring for, are going to be enforced by men. Say, So you're going to use men to do punching bag?
No.
Men to do bulletproof?
No, but I can't.
We have suffered for this.
I can't take a gun to a knife fight. It's fellow men that are fighting fellow men. Who am I?
So you say fellow men.
Who am I?
That is the more reason why you should stay at home now.
No.
Not fellow men. Fight fellow
Why
men.
fellow men are fighting fellow men? Let me be in school. At least let me be able to feed the children that my man left at home. But that's the point.
No, but the point I'm making is about rights and voting.
I get
and all
that.
of
I
So
really
the point is that at the end of the day, it's the men that are going to enforce those, because when somebody crosses you, you rely on law. You rely that same patriarchy that people are putting down. You rely on the patriarchy to protect you. The point I'm making about all these things is that there is good in all of these movements. There is good in them.
Sure.
The good is you are fighting for rights. Insofar as they are reasonable, you are fighting for rights. And then you want people to work. That is always a good thing. That's a wonderful thing. But then, if you are starting from a bad premise, that the reason you have not been working is because some people hate you, or some people are trying to oppress you or hold you down, then it becomes really, really insane. And then another point is, if you're also saying, just give me stuff, just give me a bunch of stuff, and you are not going to be like, this is what I'm going to pay for that stuff, then that is also insane.
We never asked you, like, it was never in history that they asked for anything to be given.
No, I mean, like, if you wanted to like have that kind of equality, if there are 1 million women, and if there are 1 million soldiers, say that we really need 500,000 women to enter the military.
No, but you see where we came from. You know, we've always been perceived as, the softer gender, all of those things.
Because you
That's
are.
why, exactly. In that same softness, we didn't go for war. We weren't here for battles.
So you see the point I'm making now. So it means that God, in His infinite wisdom, has already said, calm down.
As we are now calm now, is in that calmness we just want to be reading books, we want to be in offices.
No, it wasn't that. It was about going for political power. That's the point
But
I'm making.
Okay, on the grounds of
So if you are going for political
power,
it means that you are going to be commanding the military where your people are not represented.
I see where you're coming from now, right? No, you just hit home with that point, right? But on that ground, the political offices were even asking, no woman wanted to, we didn't want to chase all the men there now. It's just like, let some women be able to sit in those rooms too. Because sometimes when you're like, every single boy from their dinner table should be, raised and then sent to the military, it's almost very insane. Some of these women have children that they lost. They want you to actually, as you're making those very ground firm decisions as men, testosterone, I beg you, I have son. My son died the other, pity other women that have children. Like, we are now bringing empathy to the table.
That's the thing. If you bring empathy, the other party are going to crush you with your empathy.
But that's the thing. if women are here too in those offices and women are there in those, there is empathy on both grounds.
No, nobody is doing empathy.
No, but we are not going. There is no
empathy in the military.
The point is that we don't want to be in the military.
I thank God that you said that.
We don't want that.
But that's the thing. That's the point I'm trying to illustrate. If you tell me that you want free stuff, as a group of women, you want free stuff, I'm going to be like, okay, ask nicely.
And we did.
No, you didn't. That's the whole point of my argument.
No, I know. Your point of argument is the word oppression.
Yes, I really love that I'm phrasing it so you understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying what you're asking of
is insane.
I'm saying ask nicely. Because you know that the people who you're asking from are people that love you, right? Are people that have loved you for 5,000, 10,000, however a human history has been long, has existed, because the reason why you don't have those things came from concern for your good.
But you know this thing.
Did it or did it not come from concern for women's good in the beginning? Did it or did it not?
It may seem as though.
It's not it may seem as though. This is how it is. Study human evolution. That is how it was.
It's
right?
being laid like
so
that. Yes.
It's not like it's being laid. That is the fact. That is the fact. Because things were really, really rough outside. And that was why we had that rule of women and children. If there's ever any sticky situation, we evacuate women and children. All of those things we are driven from preserving the human species. And it's from nature. It's not even like, oh, men really love to die. No,
I get that.
They love their wife, they love their children, and also nature.
Their community.
And then nature informed them, it is better to have this woman who is naturally inclined towards raising children, while they're inclined towards fighting animals and doing stupid things outside. The work is already divided. You understand? So you come and meet that. But what I'm still saying, if you now decide, oh, you want to change the rules a bit, ask nicely, knowing that the reason why this thing started in the first place is not from a place of malice or hatred or belittlement, because these people are still your brothers. They don't hate you. They are still your husbands. They don't hate you. They might think that, oh, you are weak. That is not hatred. They are looking at you. You've never proven yourself. You now decide, okay, you now want to take a part in, join the military, or ask nicely. If you now come and join the military, then you now be like, okay, I'm taking responsibility. I want to be part of. You understand? When you sit at table, people will take you seriously. Look at this woman in Trump's cabinet. I don't know. One of them is ex-military or something like that. Just come down. That woman is sitting, speaking. Everybody's quiet. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because she's not coming from. Nobody's suspecting. You should say this woman merited her position.
Do you
understand? So you know her track record. She has put her mouth where her money was.
True.
I mean, put her money where her mouth was. But if you now come and say, we don't want to be in the military, we don't want to take any responsibility at all, but we still want a bunch of stuff.
No.
And give us that because you're oppressing us.
No, but that's the thing. That's
Stop
what
oppressing
saying.
us.
The reason, what I'm saying is, they might have come nicely the way you hope that they did. You don't know this. It's somebody that penned this thing.
I know they did not come nicely.
Somebody that penned
so why
it down.
are you believing the one that make them look like heroes and not the one that make them look like?
both of them a
You are not.
field.
No, you are not. No, you are not.
Field.
Because you genuinely believe that the only way to look at that history is that it was good and then it became bad. I don't want to take my own that it came from bad.
That's what I said we agree to disagree, because both truths can exist. We don't know this.
No, both of them cannot exist.
You don't even want to believe that it's possible that both of them would exist.
No, both of them cannot. It's just like white and black. I mean, light and darkness. Say two of them, they can't really coexist. Somebody is lying.
And it might be a man who wrote the history that lied.
I'm not doubting that.
So,
because people have weird motives for doing stuff. That's the point. I'm not dividing history from men versus women. I'm just saying people do a bunch of nonsense. It doesn't mean that I have to start looking back at history. Just like when people say Kali Church killed a bunch of people in the Middle Ages and say, oh, it means that Kali Church is evil. I'm like, you are talking about politics now that there's a separation of church and state. At that time, it wasn't like that. There were people bishops called to take part in tribunals in these things in state, but the states always pass the sentences.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So you come and say, oh, you are now using your current situation to judge the past. You are always going to misunderstand everything going on.
That's why I also really needed people to also know the history of feminism before they use the current.
But they have those people then had bad view of history that preceded them. That's the point I'm making.
It's the person. I'm telling you, it's that person that held the pen to write the story that really put that oppression.
I don't believe
oppression
that.
Wasn't supposed
there
to
were
be
people that were publishing books then, you know, right?
I know.
Have you read any of their books?
Which one, the men?
No, the women.
That wrote books?
Yeah.
Concerning feminism?
Yeah.
I did some documentary search.
Really? You didn't find anything that seemed... All of them were wonderful. Wonderful.
It's not.
Wonderful, beautiful stories from these amazing women.
It's not going to be like...
They didn't seem cuckoo.
No, the truth is, I honestly feel like what they fought for is beneficial in the long term because people are educated.
Nobody's doubting that. I'm not saying that what they fought...
Oppression is the problem, The fact that they made it seem as though the men... They made it a fight.
They made it a fight in a very in the
because
worst way they could.
Because they couldn't collect it in peace.
So that's the point I'm making. If you now say that you declared war for this, then it means that it started from a bad place to begin with.
most of the things we have right now started from war. Democracy started with war. We had to declare war to get it.
So are you sure of that?
Yes.
Really?
Even down to us fighting and getting our independence.
So what
we
about
fought.
Nigeria, the democracy? How did it happen? Say we fought war.
We
It's not
fought.
every time that we fought war. Nigeria democracy, this current transition between Abu Salami Abubakar to Obasanjo.
No, that one is not what I'm talking. I'm even talking about like when we gained our independence. There was a war for it. We didn't just. It wasn't amicable.
You are talking about people imposing their rule on you. You're talking about colonialism. It's tied to colonialism. That one is a different. So it's not like.
It in that same light too,
why would I say that? Because it's not like women were living in women land and men are living in men land, and men came and said, but that would have been a very interesting piece of history if there was something like that, because those women would go extinct in 2 seconds.
No, but I feel like if that existed, the men would still have the mindset that they're more fragile, you know?
No.
Maybe they might raise the strongest women to fight their men, because I don't think they would be. The men then had virtue. They won't fight.
I think if they raise their strongest women to fight their men, the men will be like, oh, look at these very tiny women coming to fight big, giant, gorilla-looking men. Let us give them our little sons to kick their little behinds. Yeah? And just let's sit back and watch and drink some beer.
Wow.
So it's going to be like that.
Wow.
That clip where you see high school children beating the hell out of this American national soccer team.
Really?
Beating the hell out of them. You can't compete. You cannot. When it comes to those areas that God has given men strength, you can't really compete like that.
No, but it's not a case.
But there are areas that God has given you strength.
But they didn't allow us to explore things like education. What if I had strength there?
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that it's good for everybody to get an education. It's a good thing. But you don't frame it as oppression.
Whatever was written
Nobody is
might
oppressing
have been
you.
misconstrued though.
Maybe
Mama Nkechi came and was like, please, we want to go to school.
It's not misconstrued. And I'm talking about Oyibo people own. Now, if you come back to Niger own, there is at least some reasons to say you want to speak for women here. Makes sense. Because there are some like really dark, terrible cultures in Nigeria where
Even till now,
I know, until now, yeah, I know. So I can see why somebody would say, oh, you want to start a movement that will change some of these bad cultures that are like really, really terrible to women, like the one about a woman who loses her husband should shave and appear a certain way, all this kind of stuff. Those things are insane. But you didn't have anything like that with those people who were arguing
in that
for.
culture, would you agree with me that if any woman there right now stands up and is like, oh my God, I don't think this makes sense, that the men in those regions would not deal with that?
Yeah, sure.
Now look at it holistically on the grounds where this was also.
You are describing an actual evil and no evil. They are not the same thing.
You didn't think that them not being allowed to go to school was evil?
It's not an evil in itself. So, but if you are talking about shaving a woman's head and making her sit on the floor and carrying a coffin on her head, yeah, that's an evil on its own. No matter what the conditions are, it's an evil. You can recognize that simply. But if you are saying, I don't want my child to go to school, it's not an evil in itself.
You're not seeing it's because now you can agree right now that you don't want your child to go to school and they'll still turn out okay because there's a couple of ways they can.
They were able to turn out okay then too. It's not like women were suffering and in pain all that time. They were flourishing too. Doing things that women had been doing for generations.
Things that they said that they could be doing for generations, but they wanted more. Is it so bad to want more?
It's not.
And more they are wanting is not that they are being greedy. They just want just simple things.
No, I'm saying that it's not an evil. That's the point I'm making with this particular argument. So they wanted more, yes. Denying them those more is not an evil because it's not a necessity for their lives. In the same light
you're seeing it. So those men in these rural areas right now don't think it's a necessity for these women.
We are making objective. We are looking at objectivity. We're not talking about how each culture sees things. We are looking at objectivity. Because if everything is subjective, then if we finish this podcast, I could just stab you in front of that place and be like, yeah, it's my choice.
It's not challenging.
My knife, my choice. That kind of stuff.
I get that.
So, but anyway, I think the takeaways, I think the thing that we can agree on is that this thing was poorly phrased from the beginning.
I would say that the agenda they had in mind was the right cause.
Okay.
Maybe their mode of attainment or the words they used was not palatable, even till
I
now.
wouldn't agree with that first one, but I will agree wholeheartedly with that second one because I'm the one that said it.
Of course.
Come on. I win. She agreed to my own. I won.
No.
Come on. Yes. Cut it, we are done. It's over. A man wins again.